Hi, welcome back to part 2 of my journal flip. I did this yesterday. I recorded part 2 and I was doing some other stuff and I accidentally deleted part 2. So I'm doing it again. So this page is one of my favorites in here. I based it off on her, and I got this book from the library called Collage Couture. Can't remember the author's name, but I'll look it up and put it in the description below. And she showed how she does her girls and stuff like that, and how she does the clothing. And she said that if you don't want to draw, you can trace from a magazine. So that's what I did. I went through some magazines and pulled out some ones that I liked, and I traced this one on tracing paper, and then I traced that onto the book paper, and I colored her hair, and then I went around with a black marker and outlined her body, and then I traced on tracing paper her dress, and then I traced that onto scrapbook paper scraps. This is Graphic 45 Happy Haunting scraps, and I thought this will be really good to use up your scraps that you have. So once I did that, cut and glued the paper on here, I went back. You can see here there's a heavy line, so I cut too much out of this one. So I just went back and did a heavy line over that. Then for the page itself, I used a napkin, a damask napkin, and then I also used this tissue paper, and I used matte medium to glue those down in alternate. The napkin, the tissue, the napkin, the tissue in the napkin, and then after that dried, I took some punchinella and used purple and orange craft paint. With the punchinella I got from Collage Alchemy when the Viva Las Vegas Stamps design team did a swap with the Collage Alchemy team. And then after I did that, I just placed her on top, and just for placement purposes, and it looked way too busy. The background was too busy for this. So I just took some gesso and watered it down a little bit on the craft mat, and then painted that on here to tone it, and it toned it down a lot. Then I went back with the punchinella and did that, and then I finally glued her down, and then the moon over here is from a free clip art, I want to say, sheet from Retro Art Cafe for the till October. I forget the exact date, but it's on their Facebook page. So I just cut that out and glued it on the page, and I printed the sentiment. It's from Ginger House on her blog, and I cut that out, the words out, and used the Artisoft watercolor set and painted them in various purples and oranges. So that's that page. And then the next few pages I did a few days ago last week. And first I started out gluing a bunch of pictures onto the pages, and then I went back and played around. I did some red craft paint over on this page, and then some purple, or light purple, on this page, because he was in the tint of the ad was in purple. Then I added some red over here, some red craft paint over here, and then I just spread some leftover purple on this page. And then I was playing around with my watered down craft paints and taking the lid off of my water spray and putting that on the watered down craft paints and then spraying it with some punchinella and some stencils and stuff. And this is the heart punchinella from Collage Alchemy. And then this is the Harlequin stencil. And then I was playing with some drips, spraying some drips on there. And then I had some leftover white, watered down white craft paint from some of my other pages, one of the other pages I did. So you can see throughout the pages that I splattered with the paintbrush. And then this is another sentiment from Ginger's house. And you're going to see a lot of this in the pages. And it says it's time to adjust the fairy tale. And I used picked raspberries, distressed ink pad, and then crumpled it up. And then I did that too before I added the picked raspberries. Crumpled it up again and wet it, and then did the black soot. This one I went to match the colors of the craft paint colors to the ad, and I think I did a good job. And then I just added some yellow, and then I used the Studio Calico chevron stencil. And then another sentiment. And this one I just glued stuff in and used red craft paint and some Lindy Stamp Gang spray with the heart punchinella. And then hopefully you can see the brick stencil with the Rudolph Nose Red. It sort of blends in. You can see with the light. And then on this page I had leftover spray and it looked like a heart. So I just, with the leftover white craft paint, watered down craft paint, I just drew a heart more visible, and then I made it a broken heart. And then I just poured the rest of the white craft paint onto here. And I just used this one because it matches her. And then, let's see, this page is not done. I glued down the magazine ad, and then I had torn some scrapbook paper that my friend Julia gave me into strips, and I glued that down as well with matte medium. And then after that dried, I used some yellow craft paint, let that dry, and then I took the watered down black craft paint and poured it onto the page, and with the baby wipe I just wiped it in or on the page. Then I took 3 different punchinellas and 3 different colors of craft paint, black, French vanilla, and a yellow, and sponged them on. Now the punchinella I used is from Collage Alchemy. Got all kinds of punchinella in different sizes and shapes. So this one's not done. This one's not done either. I glue these down and use some blue craft paint, and then I had some watered down blue craft paint, and I sprayed the paint on here, and then I made it, to make it drip, I just tilted it up both sides. I think I did both sides, or maybe I just did this one. And then up here as well. And then I was playing with the Ditto spray. I think it's a magenta. I'm not crazy about the little Ditto sprays. I think it's the sprayer. But I was playing with the stencil again, the Harlequin, and then some more drips. And then finally, the last page. It's probably so far my favorite. This is a bunny. It was from my ad from Jello back in Easter. So he looks so sad. And then I glued that with gel medium because I was doing a gel medium transfer on this one. And I just put the gel medium on the picture and then put it on the page. After a few seconds, I lifted it off the page. I did reapply the gel medium in certain parts of the picture because she had a major major part of the nose was missing over here, and that's just not right. And then part of her eyebrow was missing. I mean, it's still somewhat missing over here. Let's see. But it was a lot worse than it was. But it came out pretty good, the transfer. And then I just, before I did that, glued this down and glued this down. I did gesso the page. And then I did the transfer, and then I glued them down. And then after that stuff dried, I took some black craft paint and painted the whole page around her and around the bunny and all that. Then again with the watered down craft paints, and I took off the sprayer and put them on the paint bottles. I sprayed some pink and a magenta to drips, and then the black, watered down black craft paint for the drips. And same thing on this page. And I also I sprayed some of the magenta with the heart punchinella. And then I added some more white, splatted some more white paint on here, and it's not completely finished. So those are my pages that I've done in this journal. I still got about 20 or so left to do in this book, and I need to fix the binding in here because the cover's starting to come apart right here, so I gotta get some duct tape, and if I have duct tape I just have to do it. So thanks for watching, and see you soon. Thanks for